Hi, this is Chris with Nightfall Audiobooks, and I have an announcement to make. I have received a lot of requests to do a Christopher Pike book. I graduated to Christopher Pike when I was done with R.L. Stine because I wanted something a bit more adult. I was getting tired of the old Fear Street tropes. I noticed someone on my bus reading the first 3 Last Vampire books, but it was in an omnibus collection, and I asked her what she was reading, and she told me. It stuck with me somehow, so I managed to go out and get the first Last Vampire novel, and oh my, that is the absolute gold standard for vampires. Sita is a 5,000-year-old vampire, and she is depicted beautifully. You would think that a creature that is that old and that powerful and that wealthy would be unstoppable, but time and time again, she is humbled. She is forced to use all of her resources and all of her cunning to overcome her adversary and come out victorious. Christopher Pike is not afraid to give you teen pregnancy, teen sex. He has sex scenes in his novels. R.L. Stine will just allude to sex. Christopher Pike, nope, straight up in the novel, they are having sex. I don't think it's so much young adult as it is a little more adult. Christopher Pike tends to punch a bit above his weight class in the young adult arena. He tends to strongly believe in Krishna and some of the Eastern religions. In the Last Vampire series, Krishna shows up. He's also not afraid of science fiction. The Season of Passage, which is boring and bleak, and I do not recommend that you read it at all, because it's so depressing. And the Starlight Crystal, he will introduce space travel and computer programming and computer science and video games, and he really tries to do that Michael Crichton thing where he takes what interests him and inject it into the story, and it shows because you get a real good sense of who he is as a person and what really motivates him and what he wants to try to educate you on while he's telling you this fantastic story that he wrote. When I sat down to do this channel, I created a list of books that I was going to read in case I ever got bored or burned out, and that would invigorate me and make me want to put more energy into a novel, instead of just reading a book I have no nostalgia for, like Truth or Dare or Ski Weekend or Twisted. If I needed a book to get really passionate about, I would read that one. On that list from R.L. Stine was One Evil Summer, 99 Fear Street, Switched, Beach House, Hitchhiker, and Hit and Run. I wait for the right time to read those books. I came down to my studio one morning to read a new book. I think it was Final Grade slated to be read that day. And I looked up and I saw Switched, and I said, you know what? Now it's time to do Switched, and I had a lot of fun doing that novel. I hope you had as much fun listening to that as I had recording it, because it was a blast. Also on that list, from Christopher Pike, is Monster and Whisper of Death. They are 2 of my most favorite stories I've ever read, hands down. Since it's the spooky season and my favorite time of year, I have for you Monster by Christopher Pike. It will begin airing on October 10th. It will be 7 episodes long. It's pretty long, and I had a hard time getting it to fit into my no less than 3 chapters and no more than 32 minutes mold. Because we got into voting this year and letting the audience decide what was going to play, and I really didn't want to give you a book that lasted 8 episodes long during the spooky season, and it was going to last well into Thanksgiving, I settled on Monster being 7 episodes long. So it's going to run from October 10th until November 21st, so it will end right before Thanksgiving. Another thing that Monster will do is it will completely break the 33-minute mark. Some episodes will be over 1 hour long, some will be about 45 minutes or more, and some will be a little bit shorter, around 26 minutes. I'm only bringing this up because this book is extremely long. The first episode will be over 1 hour long, and that's a first for the channel. I'm kind of proud of that. Another thing I want to mention is ads. As you know, I am running ads at the beginning and at the end of my episodes. I am not now ever, no time never, running ads in the middle of my episodes. I think it's rude. I don't like it. I do not appreciate the idea of listening to an audiobook and having an ad play in the middle of that story. Don't like it. I'm not going to do it. At the end of the day, I respect my audience way too much to shove ads on them in the middle of my episode, even if it is 1 hour long. So thank you very much for listening to this very long preamble. But guess what? Christopher Pike is just the beginning. 2025 will bring new authors to the channel. We will receive Patricia C. Reed and Mickey Zucker-Reichardt and another Christopher Pike novel next year. We will also delve into more Masters of Horror like Diane Ho, Lyle Littke, Caroline B. Cooney, and others. Hope that you enjoy Monster by Christopher Pike. If it's a favorite of yours, enjoy. If you are new to Christopher Pike in this story, you are in for a treat. Enjoy yourself. Thank you very much for listening, and let's begin.